Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Oh, the Ilblurmatic. Welcome back to Ilblurmatic, and today's episode is on Loki episode 6 for all time, always. And this episode starts off with us seeing all these different universes. Oh my god, I was just like, yay, yay, yay. So in this episode, we see both Sylvie and, like I said, male Loki at the Citadel inside this entity that has somehow changed. Literally at the doors of the headquarters of literally the TVA. So in this episode, we see Sylvie a little uncomfortable not easy. She has this overwhelming feeling like she's nervous. You know what I'm saying? This lady's whole life being chased by the TVA. Mission is right there behind the doors of the Citadel. And we see male Loki try to comfort her. He's like, hey, everything's good with you and everything. But also, before they enter the doors open, because she's like, hey, should I just, blast the doors open? She's like, Mel's looking like, nah, and then the doors just open up. And we come across the TVA mascot emoji, digital emoji. And I think it's the cutest thing, the little emoji. She's like, she's talking to both the Lokis, and she's kind of like giving ultimatums like, this, if you do this, we can do that, we can do this. And they not buying it. I was like, yo, you can't sway them. You know what I'm saying? And it was very interesting because, she then had an alternative for them, like literally saying, hey, look, I got this for you. Tell you what, I see you guys got fireworks going on, meaning that they got some chemistry, y'all. Male Loki and female Loki. And she's like, well, y'all can live together happily ever after. And we knew that wasn't going to happen. Nah. We knew that wasn't going to happen. And literally, eventually we see that the little time TVA emoji kind of disappears. And we see them enter the building. And when they enter the building, they come across Kang the Conqueror. Yes, Kang the Conqueror. And Kang the Conqueror seems like he's this very witty villain. Pretty much Loki and female Loki tried to kill him, and he's like a step ahead of them. He kind of knows, like, all right, yep, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And we see that he brings like 4 options, and we see him eating an apple. He's just sitting there. So, and it's funny because he's like, look, I got an opportunity for one of you guys. And, and it's interesting because he's like, hey, look, I'm tired of running the show. Who wants to be the new head of the TVA? And it's funny because he's like, literally, they try to kill him in the elevator. Because he sends them to the, his little office area inside the Citadel. And I think it's interesting because he said, hey, look, man, I know y'all gonna do all these things. He has all the paperwork on, like, the dialogue and what they're gonna say and what they're gonna do. I was like, Kang the Conqueror is a very funny, witty type of villain. Like, you can't really be mad at him. I love how he calls he's like, hey, we're all villains. He said, we all done some dirt, you know what I'm saying? Sylvie running from the TVA, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much Loki killing, a lot of people in his timeline and literally dying at the fate of the Mad Titan, also known as Thanos, which I thought was really crazy. He's like, hey, look, man, I can change that. You know what I'm saying? You can get all the Infinity Stones, and you know what I'm saying? We can change the outcome of you beating the Mad Titan. I was like, you got faith in this guy and think he's gonna do that? I love how Kang the Conqueror thinks. I like how when he tells Sylvie, he's like, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you can change your life too, live a life and find happiness, you know what I'm saying? For Sylvie's case, I thought that was really cool. But also we see with Kang the Conqueror, he's like, look, I'm sorry that things went down the way they went down. Like, they were all getting played, you know what I'm saying? And we can see that outside that the timeline, he explains why he did what he did. I like that Kang the Conqueror kind of explained. He said, hey, look, I went to my other timelines. I'm from the 31st century, by the way. He does mention that. I was like, yo, bro, he's been messing with his previous variants, but he also learned that each version of himself is not the same. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine yourself, you're seeing yourself in other universes. There's definitely going to be a few universes where you're not the same, whether it's gender or male, whatever you are. And he said that that's what led him to kind of like play a little bit with these timelines, which I thought was an interesting thing because he wanted to show them how to be as intellectual as he was, you know what I'm saying? And I think from his perspective was he didn't look at time as me intervening, you know what I'm saying? And that was probably the formation of why he King the Conqueror created the TVA. So there is a motive behind it, you know what I'm saying? To kind of better the other versions of himself intellectually. So I was like, you know what? It's not bad. I thought it was like, King the Conqueror, But then we see it led to a battle between both Lokis, female Loki and male Loki. And the thing was, we all knew someone was going to have to take over the TVA. Honestly, when I seen that, I was like, okay, somebody's going to have to take over. And that was really interesting. And also in this episode, we see Mobius. Mobius has returned to the TVA, and he's back at Ravona's office. Shockingly. And I see that Mobius is like that friend that tries to help people see change and new things. And Ravona's kind of the old-fashioned type of friend. She's like, look, these are the rules, these are the regulations of the TVA. And Mobius like, it's all fake. We're variants too. Like, you can see the frustration with Mobius trying to persuade his friend Ravonna. And the thing is, he doesn't realize is that he has a point. You know what I'm saying? She starts to understand, like, even with him questioning the Time Lords, like, even the Time Lords were fake. You get what I'm saying? And Ravonna eventually decides to leave the actual TVA. You know what I'm saying? Like, she ends up going somewhere else. But also in this episode, we see B-15 finding out what Ravonna's life was before she joined the TVA somewhere in Ohio. And literally, she was, I think, either a principal or a counselor. So she was always this authoritative type of figure. And I think at some point that maybe Mobius may have knew her before she joined the TVA. Like, maybe he was someone that worked at the school or something like that because he knew her secret. He's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I know your secret. I'm like, bruh, you dropped the bomb on me, baby. That's how I felt about this episode. I was like, what? Mobius know the secret? I was like, wow. So she ends up going to another time, but we don't know exactly where. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see her again. Like, I just don't know why, but I got a feeling we're going to see her again. But also, we see Sylvie do the unthinkable. Sylvie pretty much says, hey, look, I love you, Loki. She kisses male Loki on the lips, and she literally sends him back to the TVA. So now that he is back at the TVA, it has completely changed. Also, Sylvie has completed her goal, her endgame goal. She killed Kang the Conqueror, but he is not dead. He said, I will return. I can't die. Literally, I'm going to reincarnate somehow. He kind of poked fun at that. And the thing is, with her killing him, now she's in charge of the TVA. Yes, I said it, she is. But the problem now lies is, when Loki returns to the TVA, things have changed. Mobius does not know who Loki is. We can see Loki kind of heartbroken. You know what I'm saying? Love his life kind of just betrayed him. And now he's back at TVA. No one knows who he is. Mobius like, who are you, by the way? And we also see that Kang the Conqueror statue and the TVA on the outside of the building. I was like, uh-oh, Sylvie got played. Sylvie got played, literally, because whatever she did, even though she killed him, she didn't kill him because now the TVA has a new face, not the Time Lord statues anymore. And now Loki is kind of trying to figure out like what's really going on. Also, I thought for me, I love this episode. I think this episode rounded up everything we need to know about Ravona's past. Mobius kind of trying to let Ravonna know that we're working for a fake organization. Let's kind of put our heads together, reform the TVA. Sylvie's in game, literally killing Kang the Conqueror, but he will definitely return. Also, with Loki returning to the TVA and not being remembered by Mobius or the other Time Variant Authority cops. So I thought this episode rounded off everything. Then B15 learning about Ravona's past. Like I said, solid episode for it to be the final episode of season 1. Looking forward to season 2. And I think Marvel has done something really good with time travel. You know what I'm saying? We understand the villain's logic a little bit. Kang the Conqueror. And I just thought this episode was really good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it answered the questions that I needed to be asked. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's running the TVA? What was Ravona's past like? Because I still think Mobius may have played a part of her past. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like one of the teachers at the school, or, you know what I'm saying, or something of that nature, because he knew her secret. But it's sad to see that Sylvie betrayed Loki. I know it was coming though. I was like, she is only for herself, you know what I'm saying? And she couldn't trust the other Loki, male Loki, because she felt like, I can't trust you, bruh. I can't trust you. You always lying. But I like that they were put at odds in this episode, and then eventually something had to happen to break. And I just thought it was overall a good episode. But guys, have you seen the latest episode of Loki? You tell me in the comments, guys. Until next time, have a great day. I'm out.